Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to start the unit 2, that is about the groups, and I have already posted part 1 and part 2 for the unit 1 and all the previous year questions that came based on the unit 1, right? And you can go to the description box, there is link. You can click on that link to watch the videos. Now this is the third video on MT6, okay, abstract algebra. And one more thing, this is very important because whatever we are going to read in block 1 and block 2, that is all about groups and subgroups. Okay, so this is the basic, what is group, then we will read the different kinds of groups. Fine, so let's just start. So first thing is binary operation. What do you mean by binary operation? Binary means two, right? If there is A and B, two elements are there and we are doing something with these two, okay, that means if you are operating these two, then this is called binary operation. Okay, so we know four basic operations on sets like natural number, integers, this is the fraction, and real number, etc., right? And what are the four basic operations? Plus, minus, multiplication, and division. Okay, we can have other than these four operations, but we need to find this operation and its property should be specified. That means other than these symbols we can use the symbols, like the binary operations can be used by the symbols like this also. Okay, now some plus means, as we already know that plus means addition, minus means subtraction, and this symbol shows us multiplication, right? But sometimes it may differ. Okay, if we will specify the operation, then okay, I'll show you the example now. Next, plus, minus, division, multiplication are defined on the elements of a set by following some specific properties. What are the specific properties? You know, first one is closure property, then commutative property, associative property, identity, inverse, okay, existence of inverse and identity, like that. Properties are there, and whatever you are taking the operations, the properties must be specified. Okay, we already know about the properties of these all, and these are defined on the elements of a set. Example, we can define the addition on natural number, okay, and also we can define the addition on integer. Okay, addition is closed in every set, right? But okay, division is not commutative in natural number and integers. Okay, so it is not necessary that all the properties will be satisfied by the operations. Okay, some operations, the operations may satisfy some of the properties and may not satisfy some of the properties. Okay, but whenever we are talking about binary operation, it must be closed. Okay, now the binary operation is operated on the element of set. Okay, whatever suppose element I am taking here, look here, the set is S and XYZ elements are there. Okay, so now the binary operation is operated on the element of set and it must be closed, right? Just I told you. Or you can say it satisfy the closure property. Remember, whenever you are saying that this is a binary operation, that means it satisfies the closure property, no need to prove this. But if the operation has not been mentioned as binary operations, then you have to prove the closure property so that you can show that that operation is a binary operation. Okay, so here let S be a non-empty set and any function star S cross S to S. Okay, that means one element we are taking from S and the element also we are taking from S, and after the operation whatever will come, that will come in S, right? And this means they satisfy the closure property. Okay, so this is called a binary operation on S. So here this is one example I have given you, that X star Y, what is the relation? 3 times of the first plus the second. Okay, that is Y divided whole divided by 2, and I took this at let this be Z. Okay, so I am taking x from s, y from s, and whatever the answer I am getting, that is again in the s, that is z, right? That means this is a binary operations. Okay, now we are not sure that whether it satisfies the other properties, okay, but it must satisfy the closure property because this is a binary operation. Now we can say that this x and y belongs to s cross s. You know the Cartesian coordinate products. We can represent this as star xy. That means whenever we are taking this as the first element, this as the second element, and we are operating this two element on this operation, okay, then this operation is closed and this is called the binary operation. Now the binary operations can be used by the symbols like this. Okay, next. Okay, here is an example. So P of S be the set of all subsets of S. Okay, there is a subset S and S contains suppose 1 2 3. Okay, then P of S is the set of all the subsets. So what are the subsets of S? It can be 1 5 2 3 1 2 2 3 1 3 1 2 3. So these are the set of all the subsets. That's why I have also put the curly brackets here also, because P of S is a set. Now the union and intersections are known as binary operations on P of S. Okay, that means we have to show yes, we have to show that the union and intersection are also binary operation. Now just I told you, if any operation, okay, here union and intersections are the operations we will do. So we have to check that whether these two are closed or not. If these two are closed, then these two are the binary operations. Okay, so I just took any two element 1 2 3 and 1 3 and I performed the union, and what I got is 1 2 3. So whatever the product I got, that is again in that set, that means it is closed. Similarly 2 3 is intersected with 1 2. Two elements I took from P of S and what I got is 2, and again this set is in P of S. That means the union and intersection both are closed. That means whenever we are taking some element from P of S and operating it with some elements of P of S, then we are getting the P of S, okay, element of P of S. So we can have commutative, associative, identity and inverse property on binary operations, okay, but that is not mandatory for all. Next important question, Cayley table, it comes in exam also. We can represent the binary operation on a finite set by a square table called Cayley table. Now you know that the set of natural number is infinite and integer also infinite, but here what you can do is you can represent any binary operation on a finite set. Okay, here look at here this is a set, s is equals to -1 0 1. Okay, this is a set given set, and binary operation is multiplication. That means it is closed. We no need to prove about the closure property. So this is closed binary operation in multiplication, so we can represent that on a table. Okay, and this is called Cayley table, and this is named after the famous mathematician Arthur Cayley. Now what can I do is, look, this is the multiplication, this is the element -1 0 1, this is -1 0 1, right? I already did it, just I am overwriting it so that you can understand. Okay, now this is multiplication, so this place indicates this and this, right? So -1 multiply -1 is 1. Now this place indicates this and this. Okay, so this is 0 multiply -1 0, this is 1 multiply -1 -1, this is 0 multiply -1 0, this is 0 multiply 0, this is 0 multiply 1 0, this is 1 multiply -1, this is 0 multiply 1 0, this is 1 multiply 1 1. Okay, so always you have to check the horizontal element and vertical element, and you have to operate with this operation. Okay, so this is the table we have produced. Suppose in whenever we will move to the group, okay, whenever we will move to the group, this will be more useful, this table. Now here look, in this question the set was given, binary operation was given, and we made the table. But in this example there is given a table, so from this table we can check that whether it is commutative, whether it is associative or closed or not. How? Look, star is given 1 2 3 1 2 3, that means 1 2 3 is the set. to just check and find out the identity and inverse from this. Okay, so what I did is, first, this is the answer we are getting in the table, right? 1, 2 and 3. So I just found out that 1 star 1 is giving us 1, 2 star 2 is giving us 1, 3 star 3 is giving us 1. Okay, now we don't know what is the identity, we have to find it. Okay, if there anything exists. Now if we are doing 1 star 2, then we are getting 2, 2 star 3 we are getting 2, 1 star 3 we are getting 2, 1 star 3 we are getting 3, 1 star 2 we are getting 3, 2 star 3 we are getting 3. Yeah, this is 2 1. So you can look at here that 1 star 2 is 2, but 2 star 1 is 2. That means this is not commutative. Okay, this is also not associative. You can check it out, because here if we will take this, we are getting same, but if we will take this, we are not getting same values. 3 and 1 is coming. So you have to check every perspective, and as we will go and as we will move to the practice of previous year question paper, there many questions are there, and I will explain you that how to do. This is just I am showing you that you can understand from this table this much. Next it comes groups. So one thing you know about the set, that set is consist of well defined objects. Okay, that means any set is consist of element. Now group means what? Look, this is an algebraic system that consists of a set. That means only a set. If you are taking this set is called group. Okay, this set is called group under some conditions. Remember this consists of a single set, the group. And what is the condition? The condition is that the element of these sets must satisfy the binary operations. Okay, and also the binary operations has some properties. That's it, nothing else is about the group. There is nothing like difficult or that anything you can't understand about group. There is nothing like that. Group means what? That is just a set which elements, okay, all the elements that satisfies the binary the elements are under a binary operation that satisfies certain properties. Okay, so an algebraic system that consists of a set and binary operation that satisfies certain properties is called a group. Now in Venn diagram you can show that let A is a set, okay, and all the elements satisfy the binary operation addition. Okay, and what are the, okay, if we are saying this is binary operation, that means this satisfies the closure property. And also apart from this, any binary operation that is working on a set must satisfies the associative property. Okay, and that binary operation must have an identity and inverse for every element. In that case this set is called a group. Okay, so look, let G be a non-empty set. Here I took A, but in the definition it has been given G. You can take it at A, take it as A also, but as G starts as group starts from G, here in the book the example has been given of G. So let G be a non-empty set. Okay, non-empty set means that there are some elements, and star is the binary operations operation on G. Now I am saying you again and again, because in the exam sometimes the operation is mentioned as binary operation and you have to prove the group. That means you no need to prove about the closure property, but sometimes in the questions it is given that star is just an operation and you have to prove group. In that case you have to first prove that closure property. Okay, because the operation is binary is not given. Then G star, okay, you can write that G is a group under this binary operation. So we can denote group like this. So G star is called a group if star is associative, it has an identity element E for star. Okay, every element of G has an inverse in G with respect to star. We know that a binary operation is closed Now if a group satisfies one more property, okay, so this is a group. Whenever we are talking about group, that means it must be closure, okay, it must satisfy associative property, it must have an identity, it must have an inverse. Apart from that, okay, this is the group, okay, apart from this certain properties of group, if it satisfies the commutative property, then that group is known as abelian group, okay, and it is named after N.H. Abel. So this is one example from the book. The group has been given plus or minus 1 plus or minus I. You know I is the imaginary, where I is equals to square root of minus 1. Let the binary operation be multiplication. So binary operation has been given multiplication, and as it has been given binary operation, no need to prove the closure property. Now show that G multiplication G dot is a group. Okay, so apart from the closure property, what are the three rest? The associative property, multiplicative identity, and inverse. Okay, so let's just find it out. Look here, multiplicative identity is 1. Okay, how? Whenever we are multiplying with 1, look, 1 multiply 1, 1 minus 1 multiply 1 minus 1, I multiply 1, I minus I multiply 1 minus I. That means whatever I am multiplying with 1, the same thing is coming. That means 1 is the multiplicative identity. Now come about the inverse. Okay, inverse means what? Suppose A is an element and A inverse is the inverse, then it will give us identity. Now here what is the identity? Identity is 1. So 1 by 1 element we will take. First I am taking I. Okay, what I should multiply with I to get 1? Look at here, I is there, and when we are getting 1, we are getting 1 here. Okay, that means whenever I am multiplying with minus 1, okay, we are minus I, we are getting 1. That means the inverse of I is minus I. Okay, similarly you can find for minus I. So this is the column for minus I, and when are we getting 1 here? That means whenever multiplying minus I with I, we are getting 1. Okay, or in short, if I is the inverse of minus I, then minus I is the inverse of I. So these two are inverse of each other. Look, inverse of I is minus I, inverse of minus I is I. Now come about to 1 and minus 1. Now in the column of 1, when are we getting 1? Look, whenever we are multiplying with 1, that means inverse of 1 is 1. Now in case of minus 1, when we are getting 1, minus 1 multiply minus 1, we are getting 1. That means minus 1 is inverse of itself. Okay, so I just wrote it down like this. Now we have to prove the associative property, and associative property means we have to take any three elements. So I took here three element, I minus 1. So first we will multiply this two, it will give us minus I square minus 1. Okay, minus I square means 1 multiply minus 1, which is giving us minus 1. Now I multiply minus 1. So first we will solve this two. So I'll get I multiply, this is plus I, and I multiply I means plus I square is equals to minus 1. That means this, the LHS and RHS are equal. That means it is associative. Okay, now as I told you, it has been written as given a binary operation, it satisfies the closure property, so no need to check the closure property. Now another example, fill up the following operations table for plus on Z4. Okay, plus means you know addition, here there is plus. And what do you mean by Z4? Remember in the previous video I told you the equivalent class. Okay, the equivalent class means what? Z4 means here modulo is 4. Modulo is 4 means what? Remember, suppose two elements I am taking A and B. A is related with B modulo n. Okay, this means this n should divide A minus B completely. Okay, this n should divide the difference between these two. This is the thing of equivalence class I told you. And how can we represent this as equivalent class? Remember, the equivalent class of A, or we can write it as like this. So equivalent class of A is all the values of B for which A is related to. Now here what is the n given? N is given 4. Normally in exam the question, in the question it has been written directly that what is the modulo, that means what should be divisible with the difference. Okay, but here Z4 has been given, so it's fine. N is our 4, that means n is the 4. So first we have to find 0 1 2 3 because up to Z4 has been given. Okay, so Okay, so this is the value of a, and remember, as I told you, we have to fix the value of a. We have already fixed. Now we have to write all the values of b such that the difference is divisible by 4. So now you can check, if I am writing 0, 0 minus 0 is 0 and it is divisible by 4. Okay, you can write it divisible by 4. Now 0 minus 4 or plus 4, whatever you will do, the difference will be divisible by 4. Just like that I wrote the 4 elements. Okay, next, 1 equivalent class for 1, and you can find it out that whenever you are fixing the value of 1, okay, then what will be the values? 1 minus 1 is 0, which is divisible by 4. 1 minus 5 is minus 4, which is divisible by 4. 1 minus 9 is minus 8, which is divisible by 4. Similarly, you can find for 2 and 3. So after finding this, you can do anything here. You can look here, addition has been given. If multiplication will also given, you can find it out. How? Look, 0 plus 0, equivalent class of 0 plus equivalent class of 0. Any element I took 4 plus 4. Okay, so if I am adding plus 4 and plus 4, what I am getting is 8, and 8 is in which set? 8 is in equivalent class of 0 only. That means it will come 0 class. Okay, now 0 plus 1, you come here. Okay, this is plus 4 I am taking, and from here one element, any element you can take. I am just taking the first the elements for easier calculation. You can take 0 and 1 also. So 0 and 1, if you will add, it will come 1, and 1 is in this class. That means if you will add 0 and 1, you will get 1. Okay, now 0 and 2. So 0 and 2, add this, you will get 2. That means it will come 2. Okay, now 0 and 3. Look, 0 class and 3 class. 0 and 3, one element you take and just add it, you will get 3, and 3 is in equivalent class of 3. That means the answer will be here equivalent class of 3. Now come to 1, and you know 1 plus 0 class, this will come 1, and the answer will be 1. Then 1 and 1, that means you have to add the equivalent class of 1 and equivalent class of 1 for this. So take one element 1. Okay, again you take one element. 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 comes in equivalent class of 2. That means 1 plus 1 is 2. Now 2 plus 1. In 2 plus 1, the first element take 2, first element take 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 is coming in 3 equivalent class. Okay, so 2 plus 1 will be 3. You can check it out. 2 plus 1 is 3. Now 3 plus equivalent class of 1. 3 element is 3, and equivalent class of 1 is 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4, and 4 comes in 0 class. That means you can write here 0. Okay, similarly 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 plus 2, now look, again 2, again 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, and 4 is in 0 class. So 2 plus 2 is 0. 3 plus 2 is 1. Okay, 3 plus 2, look here, 2 and 3. 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5 comes in 1 equivalent class. Okay, now in the 3 plus 0 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 0. 3 plus 2 is 1. 3 plus 3 is 2. You can find it out equivalently. So similarly, so you can construct the table in this way. Okay, this is the next question of example. Okay, so that Z5 star means Z5 means the 0 has been excluded, and the binary operation is multiplication. This is an abelian group with operation table. Okay, abelian group means, first of all, we have to prove that this is a group. As this is binary, we know we don't need to prove it as closure, but we need to prove it as associative, identity exists, inverse exists. Okay, and as we have to prove abelian group, we have to check that whether it is commutative or not. So first let's just fill up the table. So first we have to multiply 1 and 1. That means, understand, this is okay. So first I constructed this table, and as I told you, Z5 means n is equals to 5. That means the difference between a and b should be divisible by 5. You can check 1 minus 1, 0, divisible by 5. 1 minus 6 minus 5, divisible by 5. 1 minus 11 minus 10, minus 10 is divisible by 5. Similarly, you can just construct all the equivalent classes here. Okay, this is the a, this is the b, and the difference must be divisible by 5. Now we will construct the table. So 1 class multiply 1 class. Okay, so 1 multiply 1. So take 2 element. 1 multiply 1 is 1. That means it is coming in 1. So answer is 1. Similarly, okay, this is 1 and 2, right? You have to multiply 1 equivalent class, multiply 2 equivalent class. So first element of 1 is 1, and the first element and any one element of 2 class, I'll take this 2. So 2 ones are 2. That means it comes in 2 equivalent class, right? Now 3 multiply 1. Okay, so this is 1, this is 3. 1 multiply, I can take 3, so 1 3 is a 3. Anything I can take. 1 multiply minus 7 will be minus 7. Okay, so it comes in 3 class. Okay, next, similarly 1 multiply 4. So this is 1 and this is 4. 1 multiply 4. 1 4 ja 4. So this again comes in 4 equivalent class. Similarly you can check that 5 multiply 1 will give you 5. Okay, that means 1 is the identity element here. Now we will do with 2. So 1 multiply 2 is, again it will come 2 because 1 2s are 2 and it comes in 2. Okay, similarly 3 multiply 1 will come 3. 4 multiply 1 is called 4. 5 multiply 1 will come 5. And remember, this is not just the number, this represents the class. Okay, now 2 multiply 2, that means I will take 2 from 2 class, so it will be 2 multiply 2 means 2 multiply 2, which is 4. Okay, and 4 comes in 4 equivalent class, that means it will be 4. Then 2 multiply 3, this one 2 multiply 3, so 2 3s are 6 and 6 comes in 1, so 2 multiply 3 is 1. Okay, it's better to put lines here. Now 2 multiply 4, 2 and from here 4, 4 8 ja, 4 2 ja 8 and 8 comes in 3, so 2 4 it will come. Okay, 8 is in 3 class. Now from 2 and 5, 5 2 ja 10 and 10 comes in the 5 equivalent class, so it will be 5. Okay, now 3 multiply 2, so again you can check, 2 3s are 6, 6 comes in 1. 3 multiply 3, you can take any one element, 3 3s are 9 and 9 is in 4. So 3 multiply 3 will give us 4 equivalent class. Then 4 multiply 3, 4 3s are 12 and 12 is in 2. Okay, now 5 multiply 3, 5 and here 3 is there, 5 3s are 15 and 15 is in 5 equivalent class. Now next 4 2s are 8 and 8 is in 3 equivalent class. Now 3 4 ja 3 and 4, 3 4 ja 12 and 12 is in 2 equivalent class. Next 4 multiply 4, 4 4 ja 16, right? And 16 can come, look, the difference would be divisible by 5. Okay, so 16 and 1, the difference is 15, so 15 is divisible by 5, so 1 is the equivalent class. Or you can just check it out, whenever bigger number will be given, no, just divide it with the number, modular number. 5 3s are 15, so 1 is the remainder. Okay, that means it comes in the 1 equivalent class. Okay, that means 1 is the extra number. If we will subtract 1 from the 16, then it will be divisible by 5. Okay, and 16 we are counting on the value of b, then 1 must be the value of a, right? So it will be 1. Now 4 and 5, 4 and 5, 5 4s are 20 and 20 will come in 5 class. Similarly 5 2s are 10, 10 will come in 5 class. 5 3s are 15, 15 will come in 5 class. Then 5 4s are 20, 20 will come in 5 class. 5 5s are 25, 25 will come in 5 class. Okay, so this is the operation table. So we have to check that whether this is an abelian group or not. Okay, so for this we have to find an identity element, and identity element is a 1. Then we can take any 3 element here, like 1 2 3. So 1 multiply 2, look, 1 multiply 2 is 2 and 2 multiply 3 is 1. Okay, now 2 multiply 3 is, as we know, this will come 1, and 1 multiply 1 is 1. That means this satisfies the associative property. Okay, and this is an identity element. Also we have to check whether there exists inverse or not. So for inverse, okay, for inverse, as I told you that if A is an element and A inverse is the inverse, then the product will give us an identity element. And what is the identity here? Identity is the equivalent class of 1. So just we need to find out. Look, here we got 1 as the identity element by multiplying 2 and 3. That means 2 is the inverse of 3 and 3 is the inverse of 2. Similarly here 1 is the inverse of itself, and as 1 is the identity, the multiplication will also give us identity. Then in this column 4 multiply 4, that means 4 is inverse of 4. And sorry, I forgot one more thing, that this is star means this will not include any 0, but this 5 equivalent class is equivalent to 0 equivalent class, right? Because this also contains 0. 5 minus 0 will give us 5, and which is divisible by a minus b. Also you can find the equivalent class of 0. This will be as similar as this. Okay, that's why we are not getting any conclusion for 5. Okay, so you cut this 5. Okay, you can do rough, neat and clean. Sorry for this. Okay, so now you can check that in this column 2 and 3 are inverse of each other. In this column again 2 and 3 are inverse of each other. In this 4 is inverse of itself, and here 1 is inverse of itself. Okay, so that means inverse also exists. Now commutative means you can take any two. Look, 3 multiply 2 is 1, 2 multiply 3 is 1, right? 4 multiply 1 is 4, 1 multiply 4 is 4. Now you can take 2 multiply 4 is 3. Okay, 4 multiply 2 is 3. That means this also satisfies commutative property, hence it is an abelian group. Next one, symmetric group. Okay, groups are of 3 kinds. I explained you. So in the previous video I told you about the equivalence class. Okay, now groups are of 3 kinds. First one is integer modulo n. The examples I just told about the Cayley table. Okay, that one, and I already explained you that one in this video. Just go through it. Let A and B are the element that belongs to integer, and n also belongs to the integer. Let us define a congruence or equivalence relation on Z as A is congruent to B or A is related to B module n. That means n divides the difference of A and B. This is an equivalence relation, and this congruence is replaced R in the previous topic. Here the partitions of Z into disjoint equivalence classes called congruence classes. We just read about this much, no? Remember? We did how to fix the value of A and find all the values of B. Okay, just now I explained you how to use this in the Cayley table. Okay, so this is what here it is saying you, that you can make partition in Z into disjoint equivalence classes called congruence classes. Example, look, example here, modulo is 5. Yes, modulo n is 5. That means the difference must be divisible by 5. So I just found out, and this belongs to n. That's why I started from 1, and 1 contains these all elements, 2 contains these all elements, 3 contains these all elements, 4 contains these all elements, 5 contains these all elements, 6 contains these all elements, which get repeated because this equivalence relation is equivalent to, equivalence class is related to the equivalence class of 1, right? That means this 1 and 6 are not getting disjoint, they are joint, right? And we have to find, like, you can understand that this class, this class, this class, this class and this class together can form the natural number n. So we can write n is equals to equivalence class of 1 union equivalence class of 2 union equivalence class of 3 union equivalence class of 4 union equivalence class of 5. Now these all classes are disjoint, right? So we have represented the set n with the union of 5 disjoint equivalence classes, right? Or it also means that we have made partitioned the n, or we have partitioned the n into 5 parts. So now, okay, so integer modulo n is a kind of groups. I already told you that 3 kinds of groups are there. This is the first kind, and we already discussed this. Okay, so here partitions of Z. You understood what do you mean by partitions? Partitions means dividing the set into some disjoint equivalent classes called congruence classes. Those equivalence classes are also known as congruence classes. Now A is called congruence class. Okay, we can call this as class of A, or we can call this as class of A. Okay, where A is equals to, you know that equivalence class of A is equals to the set of all the integers in B such that the difference is divisible by n. Okay, as we did earlier for a relation A is related to B mod 5. Okay, this example I just gave you. In n cross n, that means the first element A is from n and second element B is from n. Okay, n5 is equals to, just I explained you this one, we can write like this or we can write like this. These are the disjoint sets. So if we consider the same relation in Z cross Z, then Z5 is equals to this much, because class of 0 is equals to class of 5. Just before the Kelly table we made, and in that I have showed you that the class of 5 is equals to class of 0 when modulo is 5. Okay, that means the difference must be divisible by 5. So 0 is equals to this much and 5 is also is equals to this much. Okay, and remember we did Z5 star, that means this excluded this 0 class. Okay, so if we are excluding the 0 class, then 5 equivalent class will also excluded. Now next kind of group is symmetric group. This is the second kind of group. Okay, consider X be a non-empty set with n elements. So X has some number of elements, and this is finite. That's why it is 1 2 3 up to n. That means it has n elements. Now f of x be the family of all the functions from x to x. Then the composition of function is a binary operation of f of x. Now you know what do you mean by composition. Okay. Okay, so this is the graphical representation. So suppose this is okay, fine, this is for s of x. I am just showing you here roughly. Suppose this is set x. Okay, this is also set x. Now here 1 2 3 up to n elements are there. Here also 1 2 3 up to n elements are there. Now some function is there between these two. Okay, it like we can form any kind of function, right? That must be a bijection function. Okay, it can be f, it can be g, okay, it can be h, any function we can form, but it must satisfy 1 1 and unto that is a bijection. It must be a bijective function. So all these functions, okay, they are, look, all the functions together are forming a set. Okay, so we can say that f of x is a family of all the functions, right? All the functions, this family of x, or f of x contains all the functions from x to x. Okay, all the functions from x to x. And what is the binary operation there? The binary operation is composition. As in the number system, the binary operation can be addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, just like that. Between the function, here we are considering the composition as the function. And what do you mean by composition? I'm just giving you a small example. Suppose g of x is 2x. This is a function. And suppose f of x is equals to x plus 3. This is another function. Okay, so we can write that g of x means it is 2x. Again we have to put this operation for f of x. Now as it is x, whatever the element we are taking, that plus 3, so here the element is 2x, so 2x plus 3. So this is the composition. Okay, so f of x, remember f of x is the family of all the functions, and the binary operation is x. As like n or natural number is the set of all positive numbers, and we can consider any binary operation as per our need. We can use plus, minus, subtraction, division, multiplication, right? I hope you can understand this. So f of x be the family of all the functions f. Okay, we are just denoting the function as f. It can be g, h, anything. Okay, for generalization we just give it a symbol that any function f from this f of x. Okay, that means we can tell that this small f belongs to f of x. Okay, okay, so function is from x to x. Then the composition of function is a binary operation on f of x. Okay, I just told you that binary operation is the composition of functions whenever we are considering the functions. Let s of x is a subset of fx. Okay, s of x is a subset of fx means s of x also contains some functions. Remember, if I am telling you that s is a set and it contains some element, then any subset of this, suppose b is the subset, that means it must contain some of the elements or all the elements of s, right? Similarly, whenever we are talking about, whenever we are saying that f of x is the set of all the function f, g, h up to I, j, anything. Okay, so if I are saying you that s of x is the subset of this, that means it contains some of the functions. Okay, that means s of x is equals to all the f that belongs to all the functions that belongs to this main big, okay, this f of x family of all functions where f is bijective. That means in the definition it is saying us, it has been given us that s of x, all the functions whatever is in the s of x, that is bijective. Now then s of x compose, this is not multiplication, as we are talking about functions, this will show us the composition. So s of x composition is a group. It is also called symmetric group. Okay, and this s represents the symmetric s. Okay, now if x is equals to 1 2 3 up to n, then we denote s of x by Sn. Okay, that means suppose okay, this means look, x is equals to 1 up to n elements are there, and we need to understand the symmetric group, and we need to know how to find out the symmetric group. Now understand this again, that suppose here many functions are there. I just told you that is in the f of x, and s of x is the subset of f of x. Okay, let any function f belongs to s of x. Okay, and f is bijective. So any function f is an s of x, that means it is from x to x, right? And it will be some function that is f, right? That means we will take any number from here. Okay, this is the input, and whatever the function, let the function is x plus 3. Okay, so this is the process, this is the operation, right? So 1 will be inputted to this function, and what will be the outcome? The outcome will be 4, right? That means we can write that after this is the first input, and whenever we input the 1 in the function, we are getting f of 1, and f of 1 is 4, right? Similarly, if we are taking second element, then f of 2, what is f of 2? F of 2 is 5. Okay, understood? So this is this group is called the symmetric group. Okay, so symmetric group consists of the functions, right? Functions that is from any set, and here the set we have taken as x. It can be n natural number, it can be z, anything, but for now it is calculating on s of x. Okay, and s of x starts from 1 up to n. It is a finite set. So for every element of x, that will be input, and after entering into the function there will be some output, and that set of the output is called symmetric group. So next, so then we denote s of x, that means all the functions, the symmetric function of x, by Sn. That means, okay, this is the symmetric group, and what are the inputs? How many inputs are there? N element of inputs are there. So now this S of x denotes here the set of all permutation on these n elements. We can represent any function f belongs to S of n by this much. Okay, what do you mean by this permutation? Permutation means arrangement of the elements, right? Example, just now I gave you the example of a function is equals to x plus 3. So this is the operation. So here in for the input of 1 I got 4, right? And for the input of 2 I got 5. But it can be that suppose there is another function g is there which is 2x, right? So for the input of 1 the output will be 2, for the input of 2 the output will be 4, and likewise for the input of n the output will be 2n. Similarly, suppose another function I am taking, h is equals to let it be 2x minus 1. Okay, so for x is equals to 1, okay, x belongs to the set of x, this is the input. So for value of 1, x is equals to 1, the f of 1 will be 1. For the value of 2, it will be f of 2 will be 5, right? That means the input is serially 1 2 3 4 5 up to n, right? But output is like what it will come, we don't know. That is, we are not sure about that. Okay, so we don't know that what should be the arrangement of the numbers, right? So we just took any kind of arrangement. Remember, you have already studied about the permutation and combination in 12th class. So permutation means the kinds of arrangement. Okay, so here also we don't know what is the arrangement, so we can represent it f of 1, f of 2, f of 3 and f of f. Whatever the function is, we can put the 1 there and we can get it. And we don't know that what is the order of this, right? But there is n factorial possible ways to find out this. Remember, this function has, so this position, or you can say that the element of the set, the number of the elements in this S of x or in this f is n factorial. How? Look, so these all are the elements of x, right? That means there is a position for the value 1, position for the value 2, position for the value 3, up to position for the value n. Now we have 1 to n, this is our domain, right? And what is the range? Range also contains 1 to n because this is the mapping from x to x, right? But we don't know the position of this 1 to n, right? So we can fill this place in n ways, right? Now how many places will be left? N minus 1 will be left. So second position I can fill it in n minus 1 ways. Third place I can fill it in n minus 2 ways. Similarly, the last one I will left with only one element, so the last element I can fill it in only one ways. Okay, dot 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 multiply 1. This means what? N factorial. Okay, so x has n elements, but s of n or s of x has n factorial elements. So in the symmetric group of permutation, we can write the symmetric group like this, and we know that group is nothing but it just consists of a set, right? And S of x consists of the permutation group, right? And the operation is the composition. So this is the binary operation and this is the set. So this consists of a this is called the group. So in the symmetric group of permutation, binary operation is the composition of the permutation. Now example, S4 is the set of all permutation in S4. Okay, now S4 means S shows as a symmetric group. Okay, that means all the elements are about the permutations, right? 4 means there are 4 elements. You can say 1 2 3 4, you can say A B C D, but here for the convenience we'll take 1 2 3 4. And if there are 4 elements, that means there are 4 positions. Okay, so the arrangement can be of 24 kind, Okay, that means we can arrange these elements in 24 ways. Okay, so here we took any two functions in the symmetric group of X. Okay, and remember, this symmetric group of X is a subset of family of all the sets of permutations. Remember, so any two arrangement of uh, so any two functions we have choose, let f is equals to this and g is equals to this. Look, these two are not equal as the arrangements are different. Now the, as I told you before also, the composition is the binary operation. So f of g is equals to f of g. Okay, we can read the composition as of. Now this one, okay, that means the first position maps to 2. Okay, here. Okay, now we will jump to this 2 maps to 3, that means 1 maps to 2 and 2 maps to 3, that means 1 maps to 3. Now come to the second position, 2 maps to 4, okay, and 4 maps to 2, that means 2 maps to 2. Look, 2 maps to 4, 4 maps to 2, that means 2 maps to 2. Now third position, 3 maps to 3, here 3 maps to 1. So 3 maps to 3 and 3 maps to 1, that means 3 maps to 1 in final. 4 maps to 1 and 1 maps to 4, that means 4 maps to 4. Just for better comprehension, look. So these are the inputs 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is the function g and this is the function f. So first of all we will input these numbers into the function g. So 1 will give us 4, right? Here look, 1 is giving us 4. Now 4 is giving us 1, right? 4 is giving us 1, that means 1 is giving us 1. Okay, here whatever I have done here, we have done this from left to right. That means first we have we have done the function f, then function g, but in this diagram first we have done g then f. Okay, so if these two will commute, then this also satisfies the commutative property, but every time this need not to be a commutative. Okay, so now 2 is giving us 3 in g, right? So 2 maps to 3, and when we will put this in the function f, it will give us 3 because 3 maps to 3 here. Okay, so it will be 1 is giving us 1, look, 1 is giving us 1, then 2 is giving us 3, then 3, look, 3 maps to 1. Okay, in g, when we will put this 3 in the function g, it will give us 1. Now when we will put this 1 in function f, it will give us 2 because 1 maps to 2 here in f. Okay, so ultimately 3 will give us 2. You can see 3, 1, 1, 2. Okay, now 4 is mapping to 2 here. Look, 4 maps to 2 and 2 maps to 4. So 4 maps to 2 and 2 maps to 4, that means 4 maps to 4. So this is all about the function composition of this is composition of g and f. Okay, so 4 will map to 4. Okay, so every time, as I told you, this 2 need not to be commutative. Now it came to cycles. Okay, that means we can represent this permutation as cycles also. Now it is not necessary that every time we can form any permutation as cycles, but whenever it is possible or there is any cyclic order, then it is easier to represent in cycle. How? Look, here example number 1. Okay, for our convenience we can write the permutation as a product of cycle. For example 1 maps to 2, 2 maps to 4, 3 maps to 1, 4 maps to 6, 5 maps to 3, 6 maps to 7, 7 maps to 5. This means there is some function, okay, and whenever we have put 1 in that function, we got 2 as output. When we put 2 as input, we got 4 as output. Okay, like this. So here you can see that 1 maps to 2 and 2 maps to 4 and 4 maps to 6 and 6 maps to 7 and 7 maps to 5 and 5 maps to 3 and 3 maps to 1. That means how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All the elements are here, and there is a cyclic order of mapping. Look, here you can see 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 5, 5 to 3, 3 to 1. That means it is forming a cycle, right? So we can represent this as a cycle, and all the elements are forming only one cycle, right? So we can write it, look, 1 2 4 6 7 5 3 1, and we can say it that 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 5, 5 to 3, and no need to write here 1 again. Whatever is here, this will again map here because this is cycle. Okay, so as it is mapping, as these are mapping with one another, then 3 will map to 1. Okay, so this is only one cycle. So what is the length of this cycle? The length is 8. Sorry, this length is 7 cycles, 7 length cycles, sorry. Next, number 2, 1 3 2 2 3 4 4 1. Now you can see 1 maps to 3, 3 maps to 4, 4 maps to 1, again 1 maps to 3. That means this is forming a cycle, like 1 maps to 3, 3 maps to 4, 4 maps to 1, again 1 maps to 3, like this it is forming a cycle. Okay, we can represent this as triangle also. Okay, so we can write it as 1 3 4. Okay, because 1 3 4, or also we can write it as 4 1 3. Okay, we cannot write it 3 1 4 because 4 maps to 1. Okay, and 1 maps to 3, but 3 maps to 4, 3 does not map to 1. Okay, that means the arrows are showing us the direction, you cannot change the direction. Okay, now 1 3 4 is one cycle. Now what about the 2? 2 is the identity permutation, that means 2 maps to 2. Okay, remember, if 3 elements are there and these 3 elements maps to themselves only, then this is the identity permutation, or you can write it as I. So no need to write any identity permutation, so you can just represent this as 1 3 4, and this is 3 length cycle, so you can write 3 cycles. Here we need to skip 2 as it does not form a cycle. Okay, now one more thing, whenever you are saying about the cycle, it must consist of, like, at least it should consist of any 2 elements, and these 2 element cycles, that means 2 length cycle, are also called transposition. Remember this term always. Transposition means the 2 length cycles. Okay, you can represent the 2 length cycle as like this by a line, like 3 maps to 4 and 4 maps to 3. Okay, this is a 2-way cycle. So look here, 1 is identity, 2 is identity, 5 is identity, only 3 maps to 4 and 4 maps to 3. So this is a 2 cycle, and this 2 cycle is called transposition. Now in this example, look, 1 maps to 4 and 4 maps to 3 and 3 maps to 1. That means we have started from 1. Okay, and we ended at 1. That means this form a cycle. So 1 to 4, okay, 4 to 3 and 3 to 1. Look, 1 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 1. We can represent that using a triangle also. Okay, so we can write it as 1 4 3, we can write it as 3 1 4, we can write it as 4 3 1. Okay, all are same. Now there is another cycle also, 2 5 and 5 2. Okay, so these 2 are the cycle, and we can say that this is the product of the cycles. We can represent any permutation as the product of 2 cycles. And as I told you that 1 3 4 is equivalent to 4 3 1 3 1 4. You can check everywhere, this mapping will not differ. Look, here also 4 maps to 3, here also. Okay, sorry, here the order I have written wrong. Look, I wrote 1 3 4, but 1 does not map to 3, right? 3 maps to 1. So 3 1 4 is correct, right? Here also look, 4 maps to 3, here also 4 maps to 3. Okay, now here also 3 maps to 1, here also 3 maps to 1. So the meaning will not change, so you can represent it like in any method, but the rows, the arrows, the direction it is showing, it must be same. Okay, as I have written this 1 3 4 is wrong because of the wrong direction. Now 5 2, you can write 5 2 or 2 5, both are similar, right? Now composition of 3 cycle and a transposition. So this is product of 2 disjoint cycles. Remember, disjoint means there is nothing common. Okay, so next 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Now here you can see that 1 maps to 3, 3 maps to 4, so 1 maps to 3, 3 maps to 4, 4 maps to 7, 7 maps to 5, then 5 maps to 8, then 8 maps to 1. That means 8 will map to 1, so no need to write again 1 here. That's it. Now is there any another cycle? Yes, there is 9 to 10, 10 to 9. Okay, is there any identity cycle or permutation? Yes, 2 to 2, 6 to 6. So no need to write those. So this is the product of two disjoint cycles. And remember, we can represent any cycle that is of more than 2 lengths. That means that is of 3 length, 4 length, like this. Then we can represent every cycle that is other than transposition. Okay, we can represent that cycle as the transposition, and there will be joint cycle, not disjoint cycle, and we will discuss that later. Now this is about the complex number. As I told you about the groups are of 3 kinds. Okay, first one is integer module n, second one is symmetric group. That is we have finished. Now this is complex number, and there is a limited thing about the complex number here. So these are the basic operations you need to know. So you know that any complex number can be represented as z is equals to x plus I y, where I is the imaginary part. Now conjugate of z is, we can represent the conjugate as this much. This is x minus I y. Now if I take any two complex number z1 and z2, where z1 represent x1 plus I1 and z2 represents x2 plus I y2, then what should be the addition? We can add the real numbers plus we can add the imaginary numbers, and I will be common. After adding whatever is coming, that is the number with the imaginary number. Now whenever we are multiplying this will be like this. Look, x1 x2, okay, minus y1 y2, because I y1 multiply I y2 is I square I1 y2, right? And I square means minus 1. Okay, so it will be minus y1 y2. That's why it is minus. Okay, then plus I multiply x1, okay, x1 y2 plus x2 y1. You can multiply it, it is just normal multiplication. Okay, just whenever it comes I square, you can put minus 1 in place of I square, so it will be minus y1 y2, and I will be here with both of them, so you can take the I common. That's it. Okay, no need to remember it, it's just normal multiplication. So z multiply conjugate of z. Here look, you can put the formula for a square minus b square. Okay, and a square is x square, and b square is minus I square plus minus I square y square. That means it's plus y square. Okay, or you can multiply like this by putting this formula, or you can just simply put the formula and you will get this. Now whenever you are adding z and its conjugate, you will get 2x only, because y and y will get cancelled out. So now it is here, you can do the practice whatever the questions that belongs to the unit 2. Okay, so there is some limited questions, but the scalar table comes like a little frequently. Okay, so these are the questions from previous year question paper. So let's just solve it. Consider S is equals to this much. So S is a group. This consists of the equivalent class of 1, 4, 11, 15, 14, and this is a subset of integer 15, and 15 represents, remember, the module, and module means n. That means the difference between any two number will be divisible by 14. Any two number means that is a and b. Remember, where a represents this 1. Okay, if a is 1, then all these are b. If a is 4, then all these are b. If a is 11, then all these are b. If a is 14, then all these are b. So you can check that the difference of every element and 1 will be divisible by 15. The difference of every element here and this, you can write a minus b, should be divisible by 15, and I already told you this how to do, so you can do and check it here. Now the question is saying us that use this table to check whether S, okay, with respect to star, and star represents multiplication modulo 15. That means star represents multiplication, and this equivalent class is about modulo 15, that means the difference should be divisible by 15. Okay, so this is a group. Okay, and this represents multiplication, that is the binary operation. So first of all we need to find what is equivalent class of 1, 4, 11, 14. After we found out, we can make this table, and this is the multiplication, right? And 1 and 1, so as I told you, we will take any element of 1. I took 1, so 1 1 ja 1, and 1 is here only, so 1 is here only, so this is in the equivalent class of 1. So similarly you can take any element of 4, 4 1 ja 4, this is coming in 4. Okay, then 11, 11 1 ja 11, this is coming in 11. Then 14, 14 1 ja 14, this is coming in 14 equivalent class. Now come to the second one, 1 multiply 4, again 4, and this will come in 4 equivalent class. 4 multiply 4, okay, you can take 4, so 4 4 is 16, right? And 16 is in 1, so 4 multiply 4 will give us 1. Now 11 multiply 4, you can take 11 and 4, 11 4 ja 40, 4 and 44 is coming here. Okay, so this is coming 14 equivalent class. Now 14 multiply 4, 14 multiply 4 is 56, right? Now there is nowhere 56, but as dots are there, it can be anywhere. So how to know that? We know that we need to divide it with 15, right? Whatever the elements I am saying you, these elements, whenever I am dividing it with 15, it will be 15 3s are 45, right? So 11, that means 11 is the remainder. That means if I will subtract the 11 from 56, then it will be divisible by 15, right? So 11 is the class, so here 56 will come. So if you write 56 here, 56 minus 11 will give us 45, and 45 is divisible by 15, so it will be 11. Now similarly 1 multiply 11 is 11, 1 multiply 11 is 44, this is in 14 class. Okay, now 11 multiply 11, 11 11 ja 121. If again you will divide it 15 8 ja 120, and the remainder is 1, that means if you will divide 1 from 121, then it is divisible by 15. So where can you write the 121? You can write the 121 here. So that 121 minus 1 will give us 120, and the difference is divisible by 15. Similarly you can find all these things, and this much is your question. So okay, sorry, you have to check whether it is a group or not. Okay, so for group, first thing you need to find whether it is associative or not. So I will take this 3. So 4 multiply 11 is giving me 14, and 14 multiply 14 is giving 1. Okay, now change the grouping. So first of all we have to do 11 multiply 14, and 11 multiply 14 is 4, and 4 multiply 4 is 1, that means this is associative, right? You can write therefore, let this is be LHS, this is RHS, you can write LHS is equals to RHS, so this is associative. Now what is the identity we need to prove? And identity means what? A multiply A inverse is giving us E, right? So if I am assuming that 1 is the identity, then you can look, 4 multiply 4 is 1, 11 multiply 11 is 1, 14 multiply 14 is 1. But wait, you also need to check this, A multiply E is equals to A. So if A is 4, and if we are saying 1 is the identity, then 4 multiply 4 is 4, 11 multiply 1 is 11, 4 multiply 1 is 4, 11 multiply 1 is 11, 14 multiply 1 is 14, that means this is the identity. Okay, you can write the identity is 1, and every element are inverse of itself. You can write here every element are inverse of itself. Okay, because 4 multiply 4 is giving us 1, 11 multiply 11 is giving us 1. Okay, remember example 1 is inverse of itself, okay, in multiplication. So this proves that S on binary multiplication, on multiplication, which is the binary operation, is a group. So this came in December 15, and this contains 5 marks. So a set has been given, capital G, that is equals to small g, which is the mapping from R to R, and R means the real numbers. So g of x is equals to ax plus b. So this is a function has been given where a b belongs to q, okay, and this x belongs to the real number where a is not equals to 0. We have to check whether or not g is a group with respect to composition. Now first of all, it is not given that composition is binary operation, okay, so we have to check that whether it is closure or not. So let g belongs to capital G, and ax plus b is equals to y, ay plus b is equals to z, and here y and z will obviously belongs to real number because a and b belongs to real number, okay, so this belongs to q means it is a subset of real number only, and x also belongs to real number, okay, so I can take ax plus b is equals to y and ay plus b is equals to z for ab belongs to r or for ab belongs to q, because ab belongs to q has been given, so we will take ab belongs to q. Now for composition, so for closure we have to take the same thing, right? So if I am taking here g, then I have to take g only, so g of x. So first we will do this g of x. We know this is ax plus b. Now we took x plus b is equals to y, so we can replace this. So g of y is equals to ay plus b, and this is the form where a b belongs to q and y belongs to r, right? That means this belongs to capital G, so it is closed. Now for associativity, we will take any three functions that belongs to G. If I am saying any three functions that belongs to G, that means all the functions are in the form of ax plus b. So first of all we will take this g of I of x, and I of x I wrote ax plus b, okay. Then g of ax plus b, I took let ax plus b is equals to y there. So g of y is equals to ay plus b. So last function is h. So h of, okay, I can replace this with z. So h of z is equals to az plus b. Similarly, h of x is equals to x plus b. Now we can replace this with y. This is ay plus b. Now we can replace this with z, az plus b. Now LHS is equals to RHS. That means it is associative. Now for identity and inverse. Look, we know that identity of any mapping, if I am saying this is identity mapping, that means x will map to x only. So whenever I am saying you identity of x, that means it is mapping to x only, okay. So g of I of x is equals to g, right? So I of x means what? X. So g of x means it is ax plus b, right? That means this is I am getting true. That means identity of x is x. So identity also exists, that is x. One more thing, the function is saying us this is the format, right? So if we are taking b as 0 and a as 1, then we are getting x, okay. It is so simple. So now we have to find the inverse. So let g belongs to capital G, so g of g inverse also belongs to capital G, okay, because g is a set, okay. Okay, this is we have supposed this one. So let g inverse of x is equals to y. So x is equals to g of y. So we can put ay plus b. Now we have to find the inverse, right? Inverse means we have to find y, because inverse means this much and this much is equals to y. So ultimately here we need to find the y. So y is equals to x minus b by a. So inverse is in the form of x minus b by a, okay. And this also belongs to L. Sorry, this also belongs to R. Okay, so that means inverse exists. Now the look, we got identity, we got inverse, we have proved about closure property and associative property. That means this composition is a group. Now the next question is saying us that find all the g belongs to capital G such that f of g will equivalent to g of f. That means these two are commutative to each other. Now what does it mean? This means these two are commutative. Now f of g of x means x plus b. Now f of x has been given and f of x is equals to 2x plus 3. So for f of this much will come. For f of x we have put 2x plus 3, okay. For g of this much will come. Now when this 2 will be same, look, if we can write a is equals to 2 and b is equals to 3, both will get same, because you can replace the 2 here you can replace the 3 here, right? This part got same. Now if you are replacing this 2 and this 3, then this part will also get same. Okay, this much simple. So you can just directly write that for a is equals to 2 and b is equals to 3, f of g is equals to g of f, like this. Now this is the next question of December 19, and this consists of 2 marks. Let G be a group. ABC belongs to G. Show that if ABC is equals to 1, that means this much has been given to us. We have to show CAB is equals to 1 is equals to BC. And now it is very easier, because as it is a group, it is already given. If it is a group, then it must obey the associative rule, right? So we can use this and proof. And here 1 is the identity element. So given G is a group, that means all elements belong to it, follows associative property. So for all A belongs to G, A inverse also belongs to G, because this is a group and identity is 1. This is given. Now also given ABC is equals to 1. So if we will make a group, AB multiply C is equals to 1. And also we can make A multiply BC is equals to 1, as this follows associative property. Now this means we can say that AB is the inverse of C, so C inverse is equals to AB, and BC is the inverse of A, so A inverse is equals to BC. Okay, now we can prove. We have CAB, so we can replace this AB with C inverse, so C multiply C inverse is 1. Similarly, we can replace the BC with A inverse, and A inverse multiply A is 1. That means this much is proved. Next, this is a question of June 20. This consists of 3 marks. We have to check whether or not Z is a group with respect to star, where the star is defined as A star B is equals to A plus B plus 1. So this there is now nowhere given that the star is binary operation. That means we have to prove the closure property. Okay, so for all A belongs to integer, A star A is A plus 1, that is 2A plus 1, and if A belongs to Z, then 2A plus 1 also belongs to Z. That means star is closed. Now for associative property, we have to take any 3 elements. So for all A, B, C belongs to Z, A star B will give us A plus B plus C. Again this star this, that means this one plus 1, which means A plus B plus C plus 2. Now here B plus C plus 1, and again this is the first, this is the second, so first plus second plus 1, that means this much. So both are coming equal, that means star is associative. Now identity. So we know that A star E is equals to A if E is the identity. So A star E means A plus E plus 1. Okay, oh, this must equals to E, this must equals to A. So we can find out the value of E, that is -1, and we know that -1 belongs to Z. That means identity also exists, and identity is -1. Now we know that A star A inverse is equals to -1. This does not represent 1 by A. Okay, this represents only the inverse of A. Okay, it can be in any form. Now, so what is the formula? First element plus second element plus 1, okay, is equals to -1, because we know that the operation of any number and its inverse should give us the identity. Okay, so A plus A inverse, we have to find out A inverse, and A inverse is equals to -2 minus A, and obviously if A belongs to Z, then -2 minus A will also belongs to Z. That means inverse exists. So Z is a group with respect to star. This is a question I think I left it in the previous videos in the unit 1. This is about induction, and you can just have a view of this. And now this is another question from June 14, and it consists of 2 marks. If G is a group, that means G is a group, it has been given, and what is the function? And the function is the square of x and y, and it will give us x square y square for all xy belongs to G. So this is the function. Okay, then we have to show that G is abelian. Okay, so any group is called abelian, means that group must be commutative. Okay, this must satisfy commutative property. So we will just find out the commutative property. Xy whole square will give us x square y square, and yx whole square give us y square x square. Now both will be equal, because square of any number will give us the same number, right? So x square y square is equals to y square x square, so it is commutative. Now group G is abelian. Next question. x is equals to this much is subset of z 40, that means module n is 40, that means the difference should be divisible with 40. Form a Cayley table of x with respect to multiplication. Okay, so binary operation is multiplication and modulo is 40. Check whether x is a group or not with respect to given operation. Given operation is multiplication. So let's just first find out the Cayley table, then we will check that whether it is a group or not. Now I told you this must be a and this must be b, and the difference must be divisible with 40. Okay, so for 5 you can subtract 1 each element with minus, sorry, you can subtract each element with 5 and you will get some number that is divisible by 40. Similarly you can find these classes. Now as this is the multiplication, 5 and 5, again I have to take only one element 5, and so I'll take 5 here. So this is like we have to do 5 equivalent class multiply 5 equivalent class. Okay, one element I'll take, that is 5. So 5 5 is 25 and 25 is in 25 equivalent class. Okay, sorry, that table has some mistakes, so you can refer to this table. Okay, and this is correct, you can check your answer with this. Now from this table we can know that 25 multiply 5 is giving us 5, 25 multiply 15 is giving us 15, 25 multiply 25 is giving us 15, 25 multiply 35 is giving us 35. That means whatever the numbers we are multiplying with 25, we are getting the same thing. That means 25 is the identity here. The element is the inverse of itself, because as we know that 25 is the identity, we can check that we can get 25 by multiplying 5 twice. Here we can get 25 by multiplying 15 twice. Here 25 multiplying twice we are getting 25, 35 multiplying twice we are getting 25. Okay, so this is the inverse of itself. Now associative property, you can check that it is associative, that means it is a group. Okay, so here it is finished your unit 2. In next part we will go to subgroups, unit 3. So thank you for watching my video. Please like, share with your friends and subscribe for more videos.